of today. I would like to give the floor to Angela to introduce our guest.
To introduce our speaker.
Yeah, to introduce our speaker, sorry.
Oh, okay. Good morning, everyone. Um, Welcome, and nice to see all the nice faces. Uh, this morning, our speaker will be Prakash Mulchan Dialani. He is a business owner in St. Martin and operates a jewelry store for the past 34 years. He has been a member of the Rotary Club of St. Martin Sunrise since 2004. He assumed the roles of club president twice in 2009 and 2010, and also in 2019 to 20. He has served on the board of St. Martin Sunrise for the last 13 years and has held positions as secretary, fundraising director, vocational director, and club administration. Rotarian Prakash is currently the club's fundraising director and also area membership coordinator for St. Martin, Angola, and St. Bart's. He is a Paul Harris Fellow and a Paul Harris Society member. Rotarian Prakash is happily married for 28 years to his lovely wife, Jarna. She is also a member of Rotary Club of St. Martin Sunrise. He is a proud father of two sons, Dr. Delish and Rohit. Please welcome Rotarian Prakash Dialani.
Thank you very much, Angela, for that wonderful, introduction. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sunrisers. Good morning to DGE, Louis, David, and all the guests who are attending this meeting. Thank you for joining in. I'll be asking my wife, actually Rotarian Jarna Dialani, to help me share the screen, my presentation screen, so it will go smoothly. Jarna. Okay. Rotary is a wonderful global movement that allows individuals to come together and take actions that are an expression of our collective will to make this world a better place. Our members are our greatest strength, and membership matters. But our greatest strength is also our greatest challenge these days. My topic is about how do we recruit new members, but more importantly, how to retain existing members, transition members of Rotaract to Rotary, re-engage current and former members of the Rotary organization or your Rotary club. So that is my subject of the meeting. Membership retention is the primary subject. Of course, recruitment is also important. Let's talk just a little bit about what does membership retention means. For any organization, it means successfully growing and managing membership. So this is the most important part of it. How do we grow our membership? But then comes the more important part of it is that how do we make sure those members are staying in the club? That's what we call retention. Let's go a little bit into our stats of history, which we are all aware of, but let's go a little bit into it. Our members are our greatest assets. There are currently 1.2 million members in Rotary, but that number has been same since almost the last 15 years. That means for every new member who is joining Rotary, another person is leaving Rotary. On the right side of the slide, there's a little statistics which they did at the beginning of the current Rotary year. As of July 1st, 2020, we had 1.174890 million members, which was approximately 15,000 less Rotarians than exactly a year before, July 1st, 2019. This was despite of we gained 269 more clubs worldwide. We are at 36,159 clubs. This was as of July 1st. And just for the information purpose, the percentage of women, which keeps increasing, which is a very positive thing in Rotary, is 24%. This slide elaborates a little bit about few things which why members leave. The first and the foremost is cost and or time. What it entails actually is many members leave as they are not able to keep up with the cost of keeping the membership. And also many times they may have different reasons because of which they are not able to give as much time as may be required. They join with the perception of serving the community, but then challenges of day-to-day thing, challenges of costing, challenges of the time make them leave the membership or leave the club. The second important point many times why members leave is the club environment. Members also leave many times due to the club environment, for example, non-involvement, etc. We are going to talk about how we can change this in the next section of this presentation. There is also many members leave because they have unmet expectations. They leave because after joining the Rotary, their expectations is not met. Maybe they have had a different perspective what Rotary would do for them. So these are some bullet things where members leave. We're going to talk a little bit about what we can change to increase our membership. Flexibility. More flexible club timings, which is what we have been doing in the past couple of years. That is especially because of pandemic, but Rotary is advertising to continue using the Zoom platform wherever possible, where you see you can increase the attendance, you can increase the involvement of the members. So virtual and physical meeting combination is the going forward method in Rotary. To increase more engagement, you are able to get more people from overseas to join you, which was absolutely not a possibility before. We were only able to get the people who can physically come to your meetings. This has given a new platform of how we can engage more members together. That's flexibility. What we can also do to increase our membership, do membership drives. We shouldn't stick with maybe just one in a year. We can do more than one. Membership drive can not necessarily be only doing event just to get members, but do more fellowships, invite your friends, let them get little knowledge about the Rotary, tell them what good things you do, talk about the signature projects, talk about how your club has been making a difference in the community, what they have been doing for the last many years, get them interested, and then invite them to your meetings as a guest, make them welcome, and slowly but steadily you will see some of those will start turning interested in Rotary, and that can help you increase your membership. Identifying individuals from community. What it means by that? Someone who is doing great in your community on some project. maybe it's not Rotary related, just anything good in the community. The person, he or she is involved in making some awareness, doing some positive, changes in the community, contact them. They may be the one who may want to join Rotary because Rotary does exactly what they are also doing in a different way. So identifying individuals from community and get them interested in the membership in the Rotary in general, how they join Rotary, that's the second part. Sometimes they even stay as friends of Rotary. So we should increase our networking with those individuals. Classifications. Very important aspect of Rotary, which Rotary has been promoting from day one, is that always look at the classification within your club. See which categories are missing. Try to identify individuals from that category and see if you how you can approach them through your network, through your business network, through your friendship, through your family, however you take it. Identify the classification, invite more members and younger professionals across the qualifications and like engineering, software, web development, doctors, no matter what. It shouldn't be restricted to only few categories. So these are a couple of things which we can do to increase our memberships. Now we are going to talk a little bit more about the most important part of this presentation, which is what we can do to increase the percentage of membership retention. Practice being a fan. Fan is F.A.N. F stands for a friend, A stands for assignment, and N stands for nourishment. We're going to talk about each of these things just in brief, very quickly. Friend. Friend, for a new member, a friend is their sponsor and their mentor, not always the same person. A mentor is an experienced Rotarian, a Paul Harris Fellow, a Rotarian with good attendance and knowledge of the Rotary in the club and in the district. So many clubs fail to ensure every new member has a friend. So it's an important responsibility of the club to make sure when you get a member, of course, they are a member because they were sponsored by somebody. But apart from that, that sponsor, if the sponsor is their friend who's guiding them and everything is fine. But if not, a club should assign a mentor for each and every new member they induct. A mentor, again, I repeat, is a person who's a friend who guides them, who keeps them motivated, keeps them, knowledgeable about what's going around and how they can be a part and parcel and be an important ingredient of your club. The next thing is assignment. The second ingredient all Rotarians need is an assignment. Many times, people leave Rotary because they are bored. We need to make sure Rotarians who become your member are involved. One of the four pillars of an effective club, as defined in the Manual of Procedure, is to have a successful service projects. The club's service projects must balance the interest of their members and the needs of the community. A Rotarian's assignment must meet and fit with the members' goals and desires. I repeat again, a Rotarian's assignment must meet and fit with the members' goals and desires. So it is important the member is involved right from the time they become a member. Uh, they may not be a part of the board in the first year or two. It's not something which happens right away. but get them involved as per their expertise, as per their knowledge. Some people are good in accounts, and some people are good in organizing an event, and some people are good in communicating, and some people are good in some other things. So involve, identify their speciality, their what they do best, and get them involved. They feel connected, they feel part of the club, they feel motivated, and they continue to grow more and continue to remain in the club, which is very important aspect of the retention. The third ingredient is nourishment. The nourishment means Rotary education. It is the club's responsibility to educate their members and to do proper membership orientation. Unfortunately, many clubs fall short when it comes to providing required training. Rotary recognizes that it must fill the void and offer training to Rotarians, new and old members. Clubs need to encourage members to attend district seminars, mini conferences, Rotary Leadership Institutes, Rotary district conferences. Attendance at the district assemblies and district leadership seminars must be expanded. Nourishment is very important ingredient as much as it is a fan and assignment. So these three things, combine, and if the clubs start following this more religiously, more with a purpose, you will automatically see the retention percentage will increase, meaning the people will not leave Rotary as much as they maybe are leaving right now. That is why the number is staying around the number it has stayed for the last 15, 16 years, despite of getting new members. Let's talk a little bit about quickly about the new members, what I mean by that. Someone has truly said that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. From the get-go, a new member should be warmly welcomed by celebrating his or her induction. You may organize a very small event. Let it be an event within your club meeting, whether you do a little fellowship in the evening, let it be a nice big event. Make sure the induction is done correctly. Provide them with the new membership kit, which we all the clubs do nowadays. So make them welcome, let them get introduced, let them invite their family and friends in the induction ceremony, but make the induction ceremony an important aspect of their beginning of the journey as a member of an organization which is worldwide, very respectful and very good. Little recap here. Today, there are numerous other opportunities that are competing for Rotarians' interest, time, and money. So it is up to the local club to help make sure all members feel connected. Here, the important point where I'm mentioning is in this slide is that there are other organizations also looking for community-minded people. So it is important Rotary does more to make sure they become Rotarians and become and stay as a Rotarian for the rest of their life. Whether a club member is brand new or has been a Rotarian for many years, it is virtually important to let each member know they are important part of the club. Very important to make sure they know they are important member in the club. Retention and membership is equally important as recruitment of new members and new clubs. As a matter of fact, retention is more important because when we continue increasing the percentage of retention in Rotary, the number of Rotary members total will keep on increasing because we are able to generate or not, and we are able to induct new members every year, every time. So retention, and so become a retention fan. Our club's retention will increase. Once again, a friend, an assignment, and nourishment are what Rotarians need, and it is what will keep them in Rotary. When people connect with Rotary, their potential to make a difference in the world grows exponentially. That's because they are gaining access to a network of over 1.2 million people of action from all over the world who share a goal of improving people's life. In closing, I would like to bring in the message from Rotary International President-elect Mr. Shekhar Mehta. He would like to see membership to increase to 1.3 million by July 2022. To do this, Mr. Mehta's each one bring one initiative asks every member to bring one person to join Rotary within the next 16 months. So if each member brings in one member over the next 16 months, we automatically actually double the membership to 2.4 million. But he's only asking us to increase the membership to 1.3 million by the year 2022, end of Rotary year 2022, which is July 2022. So I am encouraging everyone who's attending this meeting right now, try to follow this initiative of our Rotary International incoming president. Each one bring one. I'm going to do my best to bring in one member. If I can within this year or in the coming year, I will make sure I will give my utmost try to bring one. And I'm encouraging everyone who's attending this meeting to see if they can bring one member. Thank you all for your time. I am open to any questions if anybody will have. Thank you for attending. Any questions, anybody? I'm here.
Thank you, Peter. You gave a really wonderful presentation. Some of the information I had heard before, but definitely as the president-elect, I've been motivated to think about how we would approach membership recruitment and retention in the upcoming year.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you, Damali.
Can I also give a comment? I
Please.
have to commend Peter. Every time I'm noticing that your presentation skills are increasing tremendous.
Thank you, Marcy. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
many,
I'm happy to hear that because that's where my weakness is. So I was a
yeah,
little nervous, but it's okay. I'll get there a little bit.
I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank
And
you. Thank
And
you.
as the continuing membership chair for next year, I will be utilizing those. So I'm
Always
very
available.
to big you up. I am very impressed with your growth process. So
Thank you.
continue to present, and the more you do it, the more confident you will get. Because I saw the confidence continuing to grow as the presentation progressed. So I'm very proud
Yes.
of you. Thank you,
Yes.
membership chair, Area
Thank
Claude.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear
I was
you.
speaking earlier. For some reason, the mic wasn't going through. I actually do have a question. You
Sure.
spoke about keeping people, members busy with projects and whatnot. A lot of times, it's none of that. It's just the passion that they came up with inside with. The passion is not there. How do you go back and reignite that passion for? Because sometimes it can get so overwhelming that it's not about the projects, it's not about the people, it's just the passion is not there anymore.
Thank you for your question, President. I would like to answer it like this: that it is we are in a very challenging times right now. Our pandemic has changed the perspective of many things. What we usually do in Rotary. Please note that in the last, it's going to be a year now. Our last hands-on project was a hand wash in the schools. We were doing that project, and after that pandemic hit, and it's going to be a year in about 2 weeks or maybe 1 week, when we have hardly even met except that one event at Sal and Pepe. What is important is that we need to reach out to the members who you feel are disconnected, or they feel that nothing is happening. Of course, in the coming months and the coming year, things will change again when we will start to hopefully meet in person. Once you start doing that, you will see that people will get ignited, their passion will get ignited. But I think I commend you as a president. You are doing very good in your year. I see that you are keeping busy by doing events. You are connecting with people. So passion is a personal thing. It changes with time. You will see the more and more passion coming out once this pandemic is behind us. But reaching out to the members who you feel are a little bit disconnected, as I mentioned in my presentation, there was a part where you had a person called friend. Each member should have a friend within the club. That friend may not necessarily be the president or the secretary or that one person. It should be one person who they feel comfortable to, and that person not and it's not because of that person needs to contact, or member needs to contact that friend, or friend needs to contact. They should know what to do to each other to see keep them, because the friend could himself be demotivated sometime because of some personal problems. So it's a process which will encourage, which will change with time once the pandemic is over. But reaching out, getting them involved, as I said, assignment, it describes exactly that, getting them involved into something or the other. They feel that they are doing something, and that is very important. If we see a member who is not attending meetings, or they have just not been in touch, reach out to them and see what can you give them within their expertise. That doesn't have to be a physical presence, doesn't have to be a this and that, if you go from there. So it happens, it's a process, but again, challenges have been there in the last 12 months for the reasons we know.
Yes, Valda. Sorry, your hand was up, Bernadette.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning, everyone, again. What I want to make is actually a comment. I spoke to two persons, former Rotarians,
Mhm.
and in my conversation with them, they're from another club here on St. Martin. In my conversation with them, I asked them, why did they leave the club? And their response is that they feel that Rotary is concentrating more on membership, on new members, on membership extension, and rather than concentrating on quality or qualified members. So therefore, they feel that membership has been sort of watered down, where you have a lot of new clubs because we want membership to grow. So we're happy when we have these new clubs formed. So they said there's a lot of new clubs, and the new clubs are bringing in all kind of members who they do not think fit the qualities or requirements to be a Rotarian. um, Basically they feel that the club is just want to get members, so they would take each and every one, and sometimes those persons are not active, or they do not hold a good name as a Rotarian. So That was their reason. They got frustrated and they rather leave the club than remain in the club.
May I comment on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Walda, it's a very valid point. I am happy you brought up this point. That is where exactly where the retention factor becomes even more important. Rotary came under pressure. This is my belief. I am a Rotary only 15 years, so please excuse me. I'm not trying to talk in general about Rotary, but Rotary has been facing the challenges in the last many years of they don't see membership increase. That's despite of they doing all the things what Walda just mentioned, increasing clubs. But once the retention percentage increases, meaning people don't leave Rotary, they will not have a pressure of just increasing membership without thinking. I am not saying that they are not thinking while doing the increasing of the membership, but you have a valid point that lately they have become a little bit more uh, easier in letting the clubs form, letting the clubs become, getting more members. Maybe the classifications are not being handled correctly, or maybe there is some other factors. So yes, you have a valid point. It's a process again, Walda, which will change with time. But that is where, in the coming district of Mr. Louis Weber, he has created this new segment, which is membership retention, which not only District 7020, but Rotary in general wants to focus more on to make sure your current members are motivated, are involved, are knowledgeable, and are they want to also contribute in a positive way. So you have to make your club environment a little bit more stronger, and it will happen. Yes, you have a valid point, Valda, but I guess it's a process. Thank you.
Peter, can I add something? Well,
Please.
not add, ask then. Those I should say, what you mentioned a while ago, are they the criteria for becoming a member?
You mean no, they're not the criteria. These are some guidelines.
Oh, guidelines.
These are
Okay.
guidelines of what you can do to change things around us in the club. Like what you can do to make sure that your number doesn't become +2 -2. It becomes +2 -0.
Peter,
I, I
a
hope.
great,
Yes, Mr. David.
yeah, a great presentation. There's only one area I think that you missed out, in my opinion, my humble opinion,
Please
and
tell me. Yeah.
that is the induction process when you are bringing a new member. I do not know what I know. Each club has a variation, but I personally feel that the induction process should take place after the person expresses an interest to become a member. So even from their very first
Good
meeting, they
morning.
come from the very first meeting that they arrive at, that is when the induction process should be set up then, so that it is understood what is what they understand fully what is Rotary goals, and also to the Rotary members will need to understand what that member has to offer.
Yes, sir.
In my 25 years, I have seen clubs succeed by they separate out their members, those that have time, that spend endless hours on Rotary projects and really have the enthusiasm for it, and then on those that are there to write checks. I'm sorry, there's people that love to say that they're not the type of Rotarians you want, but if you don't have money, you can't do nothing. Okay? And I always remember my first Rotary Club. In those days, they had a requirement that you had to attend 60% of meetings at your own club. not in makeup, 60% of meetings at your own club, and an attendance was that you had to attend 90% of the meetings. So you couldn't show your face and leave.
Yes.
And they needed to get him, he used to write checks. And this particular member, they wanted to be a president at one stage because they knew that not only could he write checks, but he could entice checks into the club. Okay? And I do not know how they did it because they never gave me. When I came in the club, it had already happened, but they managed to get him on as a president of the club. And even after his death, those checks still continued to come that he could bring. Okay, but he never came to any hands-on project. He wasn't interested in hands-on project, but you went to him and you said, I need X, Y, and Z, and you got it. We had another member who was a bit of a mentor for me in Rotary, although he did not propose me into Rotary. I have seen him raise $30,000 one morning between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock by just sitting on his phone. He had a secretary. In those days, people had secretaries. The secretary was given a list of numbers and names to call. And he would say, as soon as I come off the call, you call the next one. Okay? And he would just raise this money, bang. We would move on a project from like $500 on a project till he would come in the meeting and say, I have pledges of 35,000 now, or I have pledges of 25,000. But you have a hands-on project, Chris going to come, put his hands behind the back, look around, and he ain't touching nothing, okay? He will come and give the moral support. But when that money was coming in, people used, and you have to respect, different people have different gifts. And I always remember him. We had a member who was not the typical member to be in Rotary in those days, okay? He was a hands-on contractor. And we used to do a project for drug awareness on a Easter weekend, okay, with the school children. And we used to bring in people from overseas and put the children up in beds. And Johnny would would go and get all the beds from wherever he could beg from them, courts, you name it. And he would have the dormitory set up the Friday evening when those children arrive. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner organized. Johnny just did it all on his own, totally hands-on, with a few members just backing up. And he would, and anytime he needed money, he knew pick up the phone, call Chris. Chris, I need such and such. And Chris had it there for him because basically he was the hands-on, Chris was the money man. That is one of the things I think is missing nowadays, that people are expecting everybody to be hands-on. People are expecting everybody to be giving and not looking at that's why I like that assignment, not looking at what the person can do.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you, David. It's a very valid points. A couple of things I did not include in my presentation was because I wanted to focus on retention rather than, recruitment. So, I didn't want the presentation to be a 1 hour thing and people start to leave the meeting. So all in all, thank you. Very valid point. And well considered, sir. Every member is important. Money is important. We need members who can bring in money because the clubs don't run in the air. Projects don't run in the air. And thank you. Yeah.
Bernadette?
Good morning, everyone. Peter, I wanted to congratulate you for the presentation. I took a lot of notes, and I'm going to list some of the things as you were talking that started hitting me in the, coming to me in terms of what we can do from our club.
Yes.
And so I am very happy that you had that we had this particular presentation, and also to David's and Valda's point. I think we also have to understand, and we have to fall in line. Rotary has changed, and that perception of that old white rich man who was the member of Rotary has totally changed. Women are very present as you showed in your in your statistics, and also the fact that Rotary has widened its arena to include different people. And I honestly believe that in the sense that once you start growing Rotary with that mindset of the four-way test and service above self, we're forced to have a different world, a different way of looking at our neighbors and everything. So I'm on that train of widening our horizon, and definitely in terms of David, we do have to look. We have to be also realistic and look at that also.
Thank you.
One of the important things, and I think Valda said it, and I heard it at a Rotary Zone Summit, that basically the exit interviews that were done in the U.S. of past Rotarians, a high percentage of them, I think as much as, I think if I remember correctly, it was as much as 50% of them, ex-Rotarians, said that they would never support Rotary again. They were so fed up with Rotary. And that is something that we really need to look at internally. You don't mind somebody leaving because they don't have the time, they don't have the money, and so on. But when to have a negative opinion of the organization is 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 a problem that really Rotary has. Now, I personally think that some of those surveys were very biased towards the US, because basically you look at where Rotary is growing in India, Rotary is growing in the Caribbean. We don't have an issue in either one of those two areas. But the US is suffering badly. The UK has this average age of 65 or something right across the UK, which is not feasible as well. But then again, it's because people don't want to change. I mean, I went to a presentation. I don't want to say it, but nobody else is present that was at that meeting. But I went to a presentation and I was embarrassed. The guy was giving a presentation on the founding of Rotary. And this is a senior Rotarian. And the date on the front slide of the presentation was the 23rd of February, 2019. And he was given this in 2021. He didn't even think to change the date on it, especially now with virtual meetings and people coming in. I mean, that is the thinking of the old. Repeat what I had before, and there was some information in that presentation that I personally think was wrong, but I had to keep quiet while I was a guest because he hadn't updated it. It wasn't updated. And it's things like that tends to put some people off, especially people in the electronic age. The young Rotaractors and people that we want to come into Rotary, they're way ahead of that. Flick to Google and they get whatever they want there. So they could check that information that he was bringing up and say, but this is not the case.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Prakash. We have to round up. Persons have to go to work. It's already
Yeah.
8:16.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prakash. As you can see, everybody was very, very involved. They were as Bernadette says, taking notes. There is always a lot to learn. Um, Again, we have to work on membership retention. It is very important. Figuring out why Rotarians leave. Okay, coming with our upcoming events. I know your agenda doesn't say for next week, but I just confirmed yesterday after the agenda was sent out that we will have the Rotaract President Kenny chairing the meeting for next week, March 9th.